Nago got no new changes. I don't think that's true. Everybody is different. The game is very, very different, I think. Dude, if this was 1 week ago and I was playing with Zay, the rounds will literally be like 10 seconds. One of us gets a hit and then bursts, and then one of us gets a hit again, and then we do Wild Assault knockdown, and then the set play, there's just no counterplay. That's everybody. That was every character. It was completely homogenized. Eno versus Bridget, we had rounds that were like 70 seconds long. Let me paint a picture here. It was Sunday of Evo. 7:52 p.m. Heroin Hamster. Rang. Nitro, the Evo champion, recently crowned. It was me and Tatama playing casuals for like an hour. First, I played on Bridget, and then I played on Nago. On Bridget, I literally lost like 7-0. If you recall, I actually beat Tatama in the team tournament on Thursday with a combination of Bridget and Nago, and now I couldn't touch him. Then I switched to Nago, and it's much more even, but still, I mean, I had realized it really just puts things into perspective, right? The dire state of Guilty Gear Strive Season 3. Tatama was a person who really had the entire flow of the game solved. Sole bad guy, extremely powerful with his frame data and best-in-class offense, unbelievable defense, where it's like so hard to crack him and it just doesn't matter like what option you pick because he always has something safe. His frame data, I mean, I already said that, but god, fuck. His pressure sequences that like had so many varied lines of play but were simultaneously super airtight. Like, it's no wonder Soul Bad Guy is top cut the whole cycle of the game. We closed out this season with Soul Bad Guy on top, second place at Evo. And honestly, I can't believe that we've endured Season 3 for so long. I already kind of had my spiel. Like, you saw my video, like the death of Guilty Gear Strive. Like how the game's battle balance was problematic. But to recap for y'all, the game was just not very much about your tactical capabilities. It was more focused on running offense, pressure sequences, wall assault, guard crush, skip neutral. And I mean, there was not really much agency to whoever was on defense. Looping that offense and those pressure sequences until the round ends and the set ends was the way to go. Look at Tatuma, smiling. Ha 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 ha, you blocked me? You blocked me from 99 seconds? Look at Rang. Ha 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 ha, you blocked me from 99 seconds? This is exactly my expression, okay? Just for fucking real. Bro, you understand what I'm saying? I mean, you are super likely to lose if you are ever on the back foot. So we move forward into the future. 8:47 p.m. Sunday night. Kazam and Climatize mashing with Soul and Johnny, reminiscing of fucking around on Celestial and trying to make Johnny work even though he was such a piece of shit. Rang and Tatama grinding, all grins and laughs. Ending this version at the top of the line. There's Bean and Krieg and Dawn who refused to play casuals and just sat there and watched Tekken and Street Fighter lying in wait for the moment of truth. And then 9 p.m. the final patch of Guilty Gear. An arsenal of buffs to Johnny, where Kazam and MJ were jumping in each other's fucking arms for joy. Hard KD on Wild Assault wall break was removed. Tiger Pop letting out tears of relief. Like, finally, Wild Assault was nerfed to -3, and I swear to you, when I saw this, I was running laps around the fucking Strive area of Evo. I was screaming like, oh, they fucking did it! Rang, he couldn't believe it. Folido Pocasa das Mundasas. Penance must be paid, Rang. DPRC nerfed. And then SQ was there, solemnly nodding, for she had been correct all along. And Baiken, no more Roman cancel on Haragi. And so, Lord Knight tweeted. Eddie still sucked ass, and so Peppery Splash out there in the world said, that's OD. But it was good, finally. And you know, that made me think of a song. You know this song?
No, but and I just hear you going, hey, 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 yeah. I guess we're back.
I'm reading my Strive fanfiction. I got the whole thing.
Oh,
recounting the moments as the patch came out. So Peppery said, that's OD. How is the final patch of Season 3 faring? Real analysis time. No more fanfiction. So S versions of DPs can no longer be cancelled on hit or on block with roaming cancel. You all know this already, but I don't exaggerate that when you were running offense against characters like Kai or Sol or Leo or Bridget and they had 50% and they did DPRC, the pressure that they could pull off on you was fucking unfair. Like, have you ever seen Leo do like DPRC, JP, or JP 2K 6K? That shit was fucking broken. The problem of DPRC was very like multifaceted. It was a combination of things from positive bonus to hard KD on Wild Assault and post wall break safe jumps. ASW, sometimes it feels like they listen to their players a little bit too much sometimes. And this time they went super heavy handed and they just removed DPRC. Chopped the fucking head off of the beast. And it was a really big surprise that they did this. For me, I did not think they would do this. DPRC has been in every Guilty Gear and it has been fine. The problems with DPRC, again, were multifaceted, but they fucking killed it. This change completely changes the meta of this game from top to fucking bottom. This game is completely different now. White Wall Assault being nerfed to -3 and no longer a guard crush. This was a long time coming. I have been on record saying, like, look, you can either have fully invincible neutral skip or you can have it be plus on block. You can't have both. And ASW agreed, so they made the heavyweight players pick one. And now Wild Assault is still invincible, but now it is -3 on block. Notable, this means characters like Chip and Soul can punish on block. And if you're sharp enough to instant block White Wall Assault, it is a guaranteed punish. You can still skip neutral with White Wall Assault, but you can't go all the way to just being on your offense, even if it is blocked. Notably, the reward on hit is unchanged, but it's still a strong move, but not completely fucking broken. If you played Gold Lewis for the last year and your pressure sequences were tight, you really did not need much outside of getting in with White Wild Assault one time to win. Also, very overdue, Wild Assault no longer hard KDs on wall stick, which was one of my most demanded changes, probably the most significant change of this version, and not a surprise that they did this one. Like, the whole flow of Strive had been homogenized to launch your offense as soon as possible, do a bunch of special moves and Wild Assault to generate 50% meter, force a mix-up with that meter, Wild Assault for hard KD once that mix-up hit, because I mean it's a true 50-50 for most characters, and then build 50% meter with positive bonus, again because you had a safe jump that no character could fight, and OSing every other option like backdash and YRC. Force another mix-up, Wild Assault for hard KD once you get another wall break, every single round. Again, watch Tatuma. Okay, watch Happy Chaos. It's the same shit every single round. Now, the only way to get a hard KD is by doing a super against the wall, same as always. This is huge. Burst gauge changes. You gain dramatically less burst on wall stick and less burst over time. This makes it much more important not to just throw your burst away on the flex shield. But I mean, you have to be selective with how you use these tools. Now, one thing that might happen is wall stick meta may come back from the grave. Remember that wall stick meta in season 2? Eno players, huh? You remember? One other thing is Red Wild Assault was relatively unchanged. We gotta like refresh our foundation of how we understand the game is meant to be played. It is not the most meaningful thing. It's like barely different, but whatever. And lastly, there was a fat-ass list of buffs to Axel, Johnny, Potemkin, Elfeld, and Testament, and some stuff for Zato that doesn't really matter that much. What if people stop doing wall stick? It's because when you get stuck to the wall, you get a shit ton of burst, meaning you could only wall stick like once before the ROI, like the rate of investment, wasn't good enough. Ah, right, I forgot, Bedman as well. I think the most buffed character may be Johnny, but it could be Bedman. One thing is for certain though, Eddie still sucks. So, my first impressions. After like 12 hours or so, I guess like 15 hours, the first thought for me is that I don't really know how certain players who came up in Season 3 are going to continue being successful. This is like a very negative, this is a very selfish thought to malign other players in the scene, but the truth is the truth. Only one style of play was ever successful in Season 3, and that was to smother the opponent with the powerful system mechanics as soon as possible, and neutral was optional. And it made the game way more shitty. I'm not saying the game wasn't fun, but we've been wary of playing this version in tournament for over 6 months. It's been a long time. The early Season 3 was worse, but it shouldn't come as a shock to say that that isn't gonna cut it anymore. Round times overall, as I've played and as I've watched the game, have been extended humongously. Dude, the average round time in Season 3, how much you were playing, was like 10 seconds? 12 seconds? What do you think, chat? What do you think the average round time was? Between two strong players is like really, really fast. The amount of decisions were minute. So now, with all the changes combined, like the burst and the wild assault stuff, you can't just throw your fucking resources away. Like, it's a fucking big deal if you burst and the burst like didn't accomplish much. You're playing neutral so much more often than before. White wild assault means Goalless no longer wins every matchup. Johnny is a real fucking character. Like, like you all see how, when I go into training mode and Johnny is fucking locked out, dude, that's $4.99 that I'm gonna have to drop to figure this character out because he's so good now. Personally, the change I'm most interested in is DPRC. Like, speaking as a Bridget player, it's now very important to understand when to use defensive resources or fuzzy or mash or IBFD rather than just knowing when to DP and take a long turn with DPRC or when not to DP. There's now really serious consequences to getting your DP baited, which wasn't really a thing if you just used your resources right or had a burst. So does this help Bridget? Because everybody has to deal with the same thing. Soul and Leo and Sin fucking destroyed Bridget. I don't know what the net of that is in the matchup ratios, but I'm gonna assume that it helps her more than it hurts her. For now, Nago was never really the best user of White Wild Assault, being that he's a true resource-based character. Like, to do stuff, it requires him to have resources, but it was still super fucking carried when used even slightly close properly. And the decrease in burst gain, even though Nago is a heavyweight, make it so that throwing out White Wild Assault for no reason is not a no-brainer. Like, you really have to pick and choose. And I love the lack of hard kitties on wall break. Rounds are much more dynamic, they're longer, there's more lines of play, it's gotta be more skillful or demanding of player skill, not that you have to interact with your opponent more. Elfo, I've been having a lot of fun with her. Basically, like, through Season 3, only had one special move, which was Rekka, and Rekka was all you could do to really play or do any offense, and Rekka was all you should have been doing. Now, with the buffs to rifle, is useful as a tool to zone and disengage because it pushes Elfel back so much that, like, you can actually create distance. In Bomb Bomb Chocolat, like, the grenade actually launches for a combo. And y'all saw the command grab. Holy shit, you can command grab people from so fucking far now. That shit is godlike. I'm over the fucking moon playing Elfel. I'm having a lot of fun because you get rewarded for doing things that aren't just shutting your fucking brain off and doing Rekka. But I think she should be pretty middle of the line. In conclusion, this wasn't like a little balance match. I mean, the changes were small, but they were focused like a fucking sniper bullet, okay? Impacting every single aspect of this game and every character in every matchup. I don't know how this patch is gonna... We were excited at the beginning of Season 3, you know, when we saw Wild Assault. It's like, oh wow, everybody gets to do cool combos, not just Soul and Leo. But then it swung around and did the opposite of the direction that we perceived, which was making the game more homogenized. So now there's less power, less offense, and I feel like it's what we all wanted. Less is more. And that's what ASW gave us. And I hate that. I appreciate that. I feel catered to. And you know what? I'm back. 13th place at EVO, that wasn't enough. Not for me, so I'm back. Strive ain't dead, chat. Run that shit. Dead. Strive ain't dead. Strive ain't dead. Yeah, but why they buff Johnny like that?